Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another Redstone video. In this one, we're going to take a look at this gigantic Redstone airship. Now this is a build that I've been working on over the past couple days, and as you can see, it is full to the brim with various different gadgets and gizmos. There are farms, block swappers, TNT cannons, and all that good stuff that I'm sure all of you are going to quite like, so let's take a closer look. Now the first thing that I'm going to mention in this video is the fact that the exterior wasn't actually designed by me. This thing is massive and amazing and far better than anything I could have come up with, and it was designed by someone who goes by the name of HDuzo. At least I think that's their name. I really do struggle to pronounce some of these names, so instead I'll put a link to their Planet Minecraft page down in the description for anyone that wants to check this out. But anyway, as you can see, I have added quite a lot of redstone contraptions to this build. Pretty much all of them are on the surface, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the back to the front, showing you around. So to start things off, we have got the storage area. Now there's no fancy fandangle redstone going on back here, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but this is where all of the items go. However, if we head through down here, you can see that we have got ourselves a bunch of noise-making machines, basically. These guys make quite the racket, but essentially, this is the dropping area of what was meant to be the gold farm, but slowly turned into a mob farm as well. If we just head up to the top here, you can see that inside our gigantic balloon, we have got ourselves a large number of nether portals. You can see them all here. They're absolutely massive, and on the sides of them, we have got a bunch of trapdoors. And that is so that when the zombie pigmen spawn, they try to walk on the trapdoors, but then they realize that it's not actually a block, and they fall down to the bottom, landing in the water streams, and they gradually make their way over into this area and drop down into the bottom. Now, if you're wondering why these nether portals are so massive, it's because the bigger the nether portal, the higher the chance of the zombie pigmen spawning, which means that you get better rates. Now, as you can see here, we've ended up with a fairly large quantity of pigmen, but also a few other mobs as well, and that is quite simply because they spawn on the area between all of the water streams. But if we start punching these guys, you can see their mob drops drop down into all of the hoppers, and they end up in this chest. And we get ourselves a decent quantity of gold, as well as a few other special items. So that's that one. But anyway, moving along here, we have got ourselves some of the defense systems. If we just flick this lever, you can see that all of these dispensers start firing, and we get ourselves a huge quantity of arrows being fired out to protect the airship from any intruders, and the same thing goes for the other side. But that isn't the only defense that we've got. If we just walk our way over to this button here and give it a press, you can see that a bunch of TNT gets fired out the side of the ship on both sides, and that really will cause quite a lot of damage. I have to say, I wasn't really expecting all of those other mobs to come flying out the sides of the ship as well, but I suppose you could just call those guys extra defense. But what I will admit is the fact that I absolutely love pressing this button here. Seeing all of the TNT flying out on both sides looks hugely impressive, and it's definitely one of my favourite parts of the build. But anyway, moving on from the security systems now and onto some of the farms. Over here in the center, you can see that we have got ourselves a cobblestone generator. If I just take out all of these blocks, you can see that the cobblestone is regenerated extremely quickly. Of course, living on an airship means that you can't do the standard sorts of mining, and you have to rely on generators to regenerate all your resources, and this one does a pretty decent job. Now in this little section, we have got ourselves a handful of extra farms. So over here, we have got ourselves the cocoa bean farms. Now, these tree trunks are all used for cocoa beans. So what you do is you would place cocoa beans around all of the tree trunks. And then when you wanted to harvest them, you just hit this button and you can see that the tree trunks get moved up, then get pushed back down again, and all of the cocoa beans are harvested. And you would get a large quantity of them just from this little area here, which is pretty cool. But anyway, moving on from that, you can see that we have got ourselves the potato and carrot farm, and also the wheat farm. So if we just flick this thing on, you can see that the bone meal is beginning to be dispensed, and we stand on this pressure plate here and all of it gets harvested. Then we just walk back across like this and stand on the pressure plate at the end, and you can see that it harvests it all once more. So we end up with a ton of wheat after this and a ton of other bits and pieces. And then on this side, of course, you could do the potatoes and carrots, and the same thing works again. In this center bit, we have got an essential part of any redstone based build, and that is of course the hidden crafting bench. That thing pops up from under the ground, and we can use that to craft things. Now in the middle here, we have got ourselves the fully automatic chicken farm. Now this was built by Exumavoid, and this thing is fantastic. It produces a huge quantity of chicken, and it really does keep us nice and fed. Originally I was going to be doing a beef farm, but to be honest, it's not necessary. With something as good as this in the middle, it suits us absolutely fine. But now, heading around the back, you can see we have got ourselves some melon and pumpkin towers. If we just hit this button here, all of these get harvested, and then all of the drops end up in these hoppers, which end up in these chests. So this is the melon side, and then on the other side, we have got the pumpkin farm, and they both produce a decent quantity. So there we have it, ladies and gents. That rounds up the Redstone airship. I hope that you thought it was interesting. As always, there is a world downloader down in the description for anyone that wants to take a closer look at this thing. Another thing that I'll mention is a lot of the Redstone contraptions can be found down in the description as well. You can view the tutorials for those and build them for yourselves. But anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.